Afternoon. Welcome to our first annual Sustainability Expo. I'm Diana Williams, the Chief Executive Officer of the West Valley Warner Center Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the Director of the Community Benefit Foundation. It is our mission to educate the community and to have the community educate us. Today, we're going to talk about sustainability. We have some fantastic exhibitors and speakers for you. We are going to be offering a lot of great information and a lot of resources for you to be able to use them at home and in the workplace. I would like to introduce West Valley Warner Center Chamber of Commerce second year board member and Sustainability Chairperson, Ryan Fahmy. He earned his BS in Business Management from Cal State Northridge and Certificate in Construction Management from UCLA. Ryan is pursuing a career in construction management with a goal to be a part of building sustainable environments for people to work and live. Ryan showed us a great interest and passion in sustainability, and he gave us the confidence to get the Sustainability Committee started with his leadership. And now it is my pleasure to welcome Sustainability Committee Chairperson and co-producer of today's first Sustainability Expo, Ryan Fahmy. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you, Diana. It's great to be here. First off, I just wanted to say a special thanks to you and Felicia for all your support and hard work. None of this would be possible without you two. So yeah, as Diana mentioned, when I joined the chamber over a year ago, I had one simple goal, and for me, that was to create positive change in my community. Since sustainability has always been a passion of mine, it just made sense to create a committee that would promote a sustainable business community and offer support and resources to businesses working to become more sustainable. I also want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, the audience, and of course the West Valley Warner Center Chamber of Commerce for putting this event on today. So all of our sponsors here today, SoCal Gas, Farmers Insurance, Solderhawk, Warner Connects, Waste Management, Renew, We Fix Leather, Donald Weissman Law Firm, and of course, our Senator Henry Stern, Council Member Bob Blumenfield, and Assembly Member Jesse Gabriel will be joining us today. I want to let you guys all know that we are doing a poll. It's kind of a trivia poll, so if you can see it, you may have to open it at the bottom of your screen. But it's just a fun, informative poll that we're using to kind of educate and see what type of sustainability trivia you guys know. And we'll be going over those results later on. So you'll have until 4 p.m. to submit your answers. Next off, I want to introduce our first exhibitor, David Meza. As a public affairs manager, David Meza represents SoCal Gas as a liaison to local government and serves as a spokesperson to the public and media in Los Angeles from downtown to the San Fernando Valley. Previously, he served for 4 years analyzing legislation as a representative and spokesperson for the Office of State Senator Gilbert Cedillo and Assembly Speaker Fabian Nunez. Prior to joining the legislature, he served as the Education Policy Coordinator for the Division on Education Policy Issues at the LA Chamber. Currently, David is volunteering for the West Valley Warner Center Chamber of Commerce, serving as a committee leader, and is also one of the founding members of the West Valley Sustainability Committee. David graduated from Chapman University with an MBA and California State University, Long Beach with a degree in criminal justice. Please welcome David Meza.
Thank you, Ryan. And I'm going to pause my video, folks, because I am having trouble listening. So I'll put my video on mute, but you'll still be able to hear me. Thank you very much, Ryan. Thank you, Diana, Felicia, team. What a great opportunity this is to just have a conversation about sustainability in general and how we all play a role in it. Here at SoCal Gas, and I hope I'm coming through clearly, but at SoCal Gas, typically we're traditionally known as the company that provides energy to heat your home, cook your food, and things like that. But we play an intricate role in the energy system. We support solar, we support wind, we support the future that comes in the use of renewables. And so, our mission is really fundamental to helping California achieve its climate goals. As you all know, I don't have to tell you, it's a key issue right now, and it's going to be for quite some, for as long as we are going to be operating here in California. And as you all know, renewable and solar resources have come online on our system. We've supported it for decades to support, the reduction of our greenhouse gas emissions, all just to keep the lights on, right? So gas-fired electrical generation currently plays and will continue to play a significant role here in California. And the gas industry or gas infrastructure is our energy storage is a delivery system that's going to help advance that transition to hopefully utilizing all cleaner renewables. We are already working on that aspect. We have renewable natural gas. We're trying to work on different efforts to support hydrogen, the use of hydrogen, which is not a new subject, but it is recognized around the world by scientists and experts that hydrogen can be something that can be affordable and very, very adaptable to anything that uses energy. So to affect that decarbonization, and in order to meet these climate goals, we need to be efficient as well, right? We want to be a state that has reliable energy as well. So it's going to require all entities, solar, wind, gas, electric, to work together to really, make this, dream come true. These policy dreams come true, because they're already laws, right? So we're going to be moving forward that way. And so some of the efforts for this pathway is, so for instance, we're on track to meet California's 2025 emission reduction requirements. We're the first gas utility to have aerial maps of methane emissions to make our system even tighter, which means essentially learning where the deficiencies are and correcting them. That's what we're doing there. We're also committed to 5% renewable natural gas by 2022, which means that we're going to be working with dairy farms, landfills, collecting that methane that would otherwise go into the atmosphere, essentially repurposing that methane into renewable natural gas. We also supported Assembly Bill 3136, which was signed by Governor Newsom, which will reduce wildfires by expanding the definition of renewable natural gas, renewable natural gas to include as a resource, meaning there's a lot of dead trees, there's a lot of agricultural waste, vegetation that's removed, but again, that emits methane. This bill will now include that methane to be used as renewable natural gas. We also established the nation's first renewable power to hydrogen gas demonstration project at UC Irvine. Great initiative. I will share that information with you so you guys can dive into a bit more. But we're looking at partnering with other universities to do the same. We're also executing on the largest capital expenditure plan in history. 90% of its investment goes to safety and reliability. So we're really big on not just providing the infrastructure so we can get to where we need to as far as reducing our emissions, but also to do it safely and in a reliable fashion, and not just count on one resource. And I know that there's a portion for Q&A, and I'd like to leave some room for that. But just know that, what we want to do at SoCal Gas is essentially be part of the discussion with renewables. We want to be part of the solution, and we have the infrastructure to do it. We've done it, and so we want to continue to do that, and we want to continue to work with all entities, all parties that are willing to move forward in that direction. Thank you. And now our next presenter, I believe, is Hank Kaplan. And please, Hank, feel free to introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for the wonderful presentation and for the introduction, David. I really appreciate it. If you guys don't mind just bearing with me while I share my screen, and I'll go through a quick presentation for you all. Just one moment. Great, I think that should be coming through now. So like I said, thank you so much to David for the introduction and the presentation. I also really want to make sure to thank the Chamber and the Sustainability Committee for putting on today's Expo and providing a platform to discuss sustainability and particularly sustainable transportation. Whether you're an essential business with workers physically commuting, a business with majority teleworkers these days, or you're planning a return to work sites further down the line, this presentation offers some useful strategies for going green with sustainable transportation now and into the future. So first, I just wanted to share a little bit about our mission here at Warner Connects. We're a membership-based nonprofit that assists businesses and property managers around Warner Center to reimagine mobility. We work collaboratively with the City of LA to provide safe and sustainable transportation options while reducing congestion and greenhouse gas emissions. So how can sustainable transportation help your business? Well, in a large variety of ways. First, you can save you and your workers money. You can improve physical health and mental well-being. You can cut traffic congestion and free up parking for your customers. You can reduce harmful pollutants that damage our lungs. And of course, fighting climate change and the dangerous impacts that it has on the West Valley and on our planet. Vehicles like cars and trucks are the single largest source of greenhouse gases in the state and are one of the largest contributors to climate change overall. So if we want to break up the pattern of record-setting heat waves in Woodland Hills and fight climate change globally, switching to greener modes of transportation presents a tremendous opportunity. In striving for positive change, the goal here is not to get rid of every single car trip, but rather the goal is to encourage folks to try sustainable options like walking and biking and reward everyone who already gets around sustainably. So first, let's cover some of the great options in the West Valley that are environmentally friendly. First, there's good old-fashioned walking and biking, and there's some new mobility modes like e-bikes and scooters. Plus, there's buses and transit, including the Warner Center Shuttle and the Rapid Metro G line. And for some businesses, working from home may be a long-term alternative for commuting to the worksite by car. If your business has shifted to telework and flexible work arrangements recently, it's prudent to develop and adopt formal policies that provide guidance, transparency, and protocols for remote and flexible schedule workers. Once adopted and disseminated to employees, it's a great idea to post a copy of these formal policies along with all other commute and transportation related info and maps in a highly visible location like a bulletin board, e-bulletin board, or in materials provided to new hires. It can be especially effective to cover these commute options and benefits when onboarding a new employee, because behavioral science consistently shows that individuals are more likely to form new habits like commuting sustainably and going green at a time of transition and before they have time to lock in a new habit like driving alone to work every day. Another way to promote going green, boost team morale, and engage with the community is to participate in local campaigns like Bike to Work Day or Bike Month, and events such as Ciclavia. In addition to campaigns and events, launching monthly incentive programs or contests in which workers who log a certain number of walking, biking, or transit trips are rewarded with cash, gift cards, or even free meals can be a fun way to encourage and reward sustainable commuting as well. Lastly, tapping into subsidies and programs can save your business and your workers money and really incentivize going green. LA Metro offers a number of great subsidy programs, some of which can qualify as pre-tax benefits. Metro's Employer Transit Pass, or E-Pass program, for example, provides a sharply discounted rate for your workers' bus and train trips, and you only pay for the trips that are taken, so there's no need to worry about paying for more than your workers use. If you're interested in implementing any of these strategies, our team at Warner Connects can really help you deliver them successfully. So how can we do that? How can we help your business? Well, among the many ways we can assist Warner Center businesses and property managers, as well as others in the area, Warner Connects develops and launches campaigns, and we stage virtual events to promote sustainable transportation at your site. We can also create custom maps and guides that make it a cakewalk to get it around the area on foot, bike, or transit. We also gladly provide our members with services and programs such as telework policy guidance and personalized trip planning for workers or tenants. And for navigating and complying with local regulations like AQMD's Rule 2202, our expert team is capable and ready to guide your business every step of the way. So as passionate mobility advocates, we'd love to assist you with any and all of your transportation needs. If you want to learn more, or if you're interested in becoming a Warner Connects member, then connect with us today. Our dedicated team is excited to help you and your workers go green in 2021 and beyond. And if you needed a little extra nudge, you can like us on Facebook at Warner Connects for a chance to win a $100 gift card and to stay up to date on all things transportation in the West Valley and Warner Center. I just want to thank you all again for joining me today and learning how you can make a difference at your business. And I welcome questions later on in the presentation, and I'll monitor the chat or the Q&A section as well. And with that, I'd like to please welcome Brie Breckenridge with Waste Management, who will be presenting next. Thanks.
Hi there. Thank you for the introduction, Hank. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. So my name is Brie Breckenridge. I'm the Public Sector Services Representative here with Waste Management. I work specifically for the City of Los Angeles's area on the LA City Recycla Services teams. And what that is really right now we're trying to help a lot of our local businesses and multifamily areas, help get them into the recycling habits and necessary recycling services in order to help comply with city and state regulations. So Cal Recycle has really kind of put us all to the test to try to be more efficient and effective in recycling correctly and making sure that we're making a difference in our world. Not only that, our city of LA specific, we've tried to initiate a zero waste goal for, I believe it's 2025. So it's coming up really, really quickly. So really kind of working towards those goals. We're here to help all of our multifamily and businesses kind of come together and learn how to recycle effectively and efficiently. And what I mean by that is that recycling can sometimes get really complicated, especially because we haven't really been recycling correctly for the last few decades. So I think before our logic was, if it's not ooey gooey or chewy, then throw it in the recycling bin and it'll get solved later. And that's just not how that works. With the national sword happening, with a lot of our state regulations changing, we had to kind of get an entire program together and get it in gear to get us all to recycle better and more effectively. And that's really where the Recycla program and our team for our area here in the Warner Center kind of comes together and we do that for us. So part of the Recycla program and our team is that we come in and we offer, right now we've had to change some things, so we don't offer in person as much, or if we do, it's socially distantly. But we also do virtual trainings, webinars. We can do things over the phone. We're really here for you to help teach your staff and your tenants to recycle better and how you can do that within your own businesses or within your own homes as well. So we have, different things aside from the webinars, our awesome flyers to teach us how to recycle correctly. And we even have establishment specific ones. So if you want to have something for specifically your business, whether it be a warehouse or a restaurant or a hospitality industry, we have those specific flyers that'll cater directly towards your staff and your people that will be recycling. And they're really on the front lines as far as what goes in the recycling bin. So things that the waste management is doing as far as how to be more sustainable and effective in our society and our environment, we're not only providing the outreach and Recycla services, but kind of also, part of the Recycla program is that we're implementing clean fuel vehicles. So all of the trucks that you see in the city of LA from us are clean fuel vehicles. There's, they're all brand new trucks that we've implemented. Aside from that, we're helping with our annual landfill reduction targets of 1 million tons a year. We're also kind of building more recycling infrastructures throughout our city. The most recent one is in Sun Valley, and that has a brand new recycling center. It also has an organics, it's called an OREX, but it's an anaerobic digester. What that does is take all of the organic materials that we're throwing away and it'll turn it into energy. So as David mentioned earlier, he's taking a lot of the methane and converting that into energy. We're doing the same thing and kind of working it out that way. Aside from that, we're also getting to plant over 50,000 trees to help signify our waste management's family of 50,000 people in our company. And some things that we can all do in our homes and in our offices. We're sorry, I got distracted by the chat. Sorry. We're so what we can do at home is we're spending more time at home because of everything that happened. COVID's kind of forced us to work from home or do those different things. Some things that we can do is focus on recycling more. Since we're here, we're able to help control what we're putting into our own bins. And that can start by just breaking down cardboard, things like that. We're getting a whole lot more Amazon boxes or different things that are getting shipped to our home because we're not going out and getting them. So all of those boxes, if you break those down, that's extremely helpful. That's one of our most difficult tasks right now, is trying to get those boxes broken down. Other things are emptying emptying our bottles and our cans and our cartons, and making sure that those don't have any food or liquid in them before throwing those into the recycling bin. Aside from that, free your recycling. That's also a really big campaign that we're trying to run right now. Recycling isn't helpful when we can't see things in our bags. Our lines move so fast. So if you have a black trash bag that's filled with recycling objects, it's a danger to our staff members to try to rip those bags open. So a lot of the times, they'll kind of get lost. So if you free your recycling or put them into clear plastic bags, if they're shredded paper, that helps us out 1,000 times. And it makes sure that you are recycling efficiently and effectively, because that recycling gets it's easier to sort for our team and all of that good fun stuff. Other things that we don't really know is that our PPE masks that we're all using, our gloves and things like that are disposable, are not recyclable. Technically, they're considered hazard waste, so they would go into the trash bin. So not recyclable. Please don't throw those into the recycling bins. And just some tips or tricks that I would say, pretend this is a regular Starbucks cup. Recycling is complicated. When I say that, it's because the lid of your Starbucks cups are recyclable. So is the cardboard sleeve that normally comes on it, but the cup itself is not recyclable. Certain places are actually starting to make them compostable, which means that you could throw them into the green bin, but they are not recyclable, so you can't throw that in there. Other things is that, almost 3 million of these disposable coffee cups are made annually and thrown away annually. So we could even, start small and make it so that we're reusing our coffee cups, or, even buying reusable water bottles or things like that to help it make it so that we don't need all of those disposable things anymore. And I'm like David and Hank said, I'm happy to answer some questions at the end of this. I'm absolutely here. I'll put my information in the chat if you want to keep talking about recycling. I'm happy to. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. And with that, I will turn it back over to Diana.
Thank you, Bree. What a lot of great information. I think that we're all a little mystified with the recycle process. So you definitely did shed some light on that for us. We did have a question from Claire at Tarzana Community Cultural Center. She would like to know where she can get the clear plastic bags for recycling.
Oh, any grocery store has them. I get mine personally from Target, but wherever you get your normal plastic bags from, they also have those clear ones right there, right next to them. Okay. And they're often cheaper. It's really great.
That's great. There's just so many questions. I know that when I go to Pete's Coffee in Tarzana on the weekend, I want to put my empty cup in the recycle bin, and I have been rinsing it out and I have been putting it in the recycle bin. I did not know that cup was not recyclable. So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are wondering the same thing. So I'm not seeing any questions in the question box, and I don't know if we can get the chats. I see, we do have some chats here. So shredded paper bags, do they go in the black bag also, or do you want them to go into the clear bags?
I'm muted. Clear bags would be great. That way our people can see that, hey, inside of that is all shredded paper, and that goes into a specific place. So they'll just take that whole bag and put it specifically off of the line.
Great. Sandy Rosenholtz with Senior Resources asked, does Waste Management put garbage in the same spot as the LA City system?
It depends on what it is. You know, LA Sanitation uses a lot of our landfills and our recycling centers. They'll take some stuff to us, but we specifically use our own facilities. So we have a facility in Simi Valley that we take a lot of things to. We just opened up a new section out in Sun Valley. And once COVID is over, if you are interested, I am absolutely happy to give you a tour of the facility. It is so beautiful. And I say that because it's filled with awesome recycling materials and organics materials. But as I was talking about, you know, the Orex is such an awesome machine. It's an anaerobic digester, so it takes everything and it'll break down all of these, you know, food waste that we have, and it'll turn it back into energy. So it's super awesome, so sustainable, and it's really amazing. So I'm happy to give you a tour of that, but our LA Sanitation does use some of our facilities as well.
I just love your passion on waste management, Bree. It's great.
It's fun. People think that I'm a crazy person because I love talking about it, but it's so fascinating.
No, it's
You know,
really
where our
great.
garbage goes after we throw it in the trash can.
It's really great. And I know many of us have questions about the restaurants and how they're putting the organic garbage versus the recycling and then the other garbage. So there are a lot of questions out here, and I know everybody on this at this expo today wants to do what they can do to help. So even knowing that breaking down boxes would be helpful, I'm sure that everybody on this call is going to start doing that because we all care about our environment. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Bree. If there's anything else that Bree or David from SoCal Gas or Hank, you were all pretty short in your presentations today. So there are a few extra minutes. If there's anything that you've thought of that you would like to bring up to the audience. Anything that you thought of that you wanted to bring up since that? David, you good? Your background looks great. Okay.
No, we're good on this end. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Thanks, Diana.
Okay, excellent. If Megan is on the expo, I'd like to ask her, Megan from Farmers, if she would like to speak just briefly to say hello to us and let us know what you're up to. Felicia, can you tell me if Megan is on the call?
Hi, I am here.
Okay, good. We're going to spotlight you if you don't mind.
Good surprise. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so at Farmers, as I sort of talked about it on the committee a few weeks back, we're still sort of in our infancy in terms of our environmental focus, but have a great program with our Go Green team. It's a program that our employees actually spearheaded and organized, and sort of trying to adjust and pivot during this COVID situation where we're all working remotely. So they've done some really cool activities like a Go Green at Home video series. So over the summer we had, I think it was like 18 or 20 videos that all of our employees sent in where they would spotlight a different environmental topic, like creating your own compost bin, what is the best way? Would you like to use your dishwasher or hand wash? What's more efficient? Things like that. So that was a lot of fun. And it's kind of fun that Ryan has put in this trivia at the front. I'm stealing some of your ideas because we do a Trivia Tuesday for our Go Green team, which I'm going to use one of these for tomorrow. So thanks for the tips.
Thank you so much, Megan. I know I surprised you on asking you.
No worries.
Thank you. Everyone, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and our next speaker is Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel, and he asked us to, just kind of be flexible and patient as he joins us because he's coming off of one Zoom call onto another. So if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce Dick Bublitz from FiberNew to give us a short description of what you do with FiberNew We Fix Leather. Dick Bublitz.
All right, thank you. FiberNew was an unknown commodity here in the Valley in 2010 when Rick and I were looking for something that we could do to keep Rick occupied. And we found this Canada-based company who have developed remarkable products that convert damaged leather, vinyl, and plastic into a like-new condition. And the sustainability of that, of course, is that if we can keep it in the house in usable condition and looking good, then it doesn't end up in the landfill. The other aspect of our sustainability is the fact that all of the products that they develop that do an absolutely remarkable job are water-based, non-hazardous, actually can be flushed down the drain without any concern. So we do all of our repairs as mobile, and a lot of them, some of them in the house. It is a service that was not available in 2010. We've been at it for 11 years, and it has saved an absolute mountain of materials, automobile seats, furniture, sofas, ladies' purses, leather jackets, anything that's made of leather and vinyl and plastic can be restored. So we have been instrumental in saving all of that, and we're very happy with the business, and we'd like to have you give us a call if that's something that you have in your house that needs to be fixed. Thank you.
You and your son Rick do magnificent work. I can see behind you, you have a banner that shows some of your before and after pictures. You absolutely do great work, and we're so happy to have you in our Chamber of Commerce for so many years. You've done so much more than we could even imagine. You're so wonderful on our board of directors, and so much volunteering that you've done over the years. We just want to thank you for your contribution to the Chamber of Commerce and your community. You're exceptional.
Because this was an unknown service when we came into it, I joined the Chamber to make it a known service, and the Chamber has been instrumental in the success of our business, and we continue to work at that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dick Bublitz. We really appreciate you so much. Thank you. Okay. It is my pleasure I'm going to share a screen with you here. Okay. Jesse Gabriel was elected California State Assembly member of the 45th District in June of 2018. Fortunately for us, that includes much of the West San Fernando Valley. Gabriel currently serves on 5 standing committees and currently serves in the Assembly leadership as Majority Whip. He was recently elected by his colleagues as chair of the California Legislative Jewish Caucus. In 2019, Gabriel was one of the 100 leaders from across the state recognized as a California influencer. He had championed efforts to address California's housing and homelessness crisis, strengthen public education, fight climate change, pass common sense gun safety measures, protect vulnerable communities. In his first full term, Gabriel authored 9 bills that were signed into law. He also has fought to protect Californians during the COVID-19 pandemic, including emergency financial relief to struggling workers and small businesses. Gabriel worked as a constitutional rights and general litigation attorney, appearing before the United States Supreme Court. Jesse is a committed environmentalist and a longtime community activist. Gabriel lives in the Valley with his wife and 3 wonderful boys. He is a graduate of UC Berkeley and Harvard Law School. Thank you so much for being with us, Jesse.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to, even though I'm physically in Sacramento, my heart is in the West Valley with you, Diana. And it's so good to see you and all of your board members. And I see Debbie Decker. Hi, Debbie. Nice to see you, and Felicia and everybody else. It's really good to be with you. And thank you for everything that you and the Chamber do for our community. You are such an anchor and a pillar of our community. And I know how hard you've been working over the past year, this very strange and difficult year, to support small businesses in our community through certainly the most difficult year that I've ever seen. And we're just so grateful to you. So wanted to say thank you for that. I was very excited to see the Sustainability Summit come up on my calendar. I think it's wonderful that all of you are taking on this issue. It's such an important issue for me, as you mentioned in my biography. You know, being the father of, and I will agree, 3 very wonderful boys. I'm a little biased, but I think they're great. You know, I think about climate change a lot, right? I'm very focused on their future and leaving them a planet that is hopefully as good as the one that I was born into and inherited. So really grateful for the work that you are doing on this. It's been a priority of mine in the legislature. We are in the process of going to introduce over the next couple of weeks a number of environmental measures that we've been working on. But I guess the one thing I would say is I'm so glad to see the business community getting involved in this, because I have always believed that there are ways to protect our planet that are good for our environment and good for fighting climate change, but are also good for our economy. There is a huge market out there for clean energy. And I think it's wonderful for you to support these businesses here in the Valley that are working on all of this. There's another piece of this that has to do with our resiliency for wildfires and all of the important benefits that solar can provide in that. And then just the extraordinary number of jobs that are supported by renewable energy in the state of California. I took the lead last year with a number of my colleagues. We actually put together a bipartisan letter with over half of the legislature, where we wrote to Nancy Pelosi and Kevin McCarthy, our Democratic and Republican leaders in Congress, who are both from California, and asked them to continue to provide incentives for the solar industry and for the renewable energy industry, because it really supports, and I see Steve shaking his head, it really supports you know, tens of thousands of really good paying jobs here in the state of California. It's good for our planet. It's good for our coastlines, and as I mentioned, it's good for emergency and for wildfire resiliency. So we are. I just wanted to pop in very briefly and say hi. I know you've got a packed agenda, but please count me and my office and all of my staff as supportive of this effort. If there's anything we can do, working in partnership with any of you to support the work of the Chamber and specifically support your work in the sustainability and clean energy space, we're very eager to do that. So thank you for having me. Please stay safe. Hope all of you continue to stay safe, and good luck with everything. And then we will be in touch with you separately, Diana. We're working on some legislation around supporting our restaurants now that outdoor dining is going to be open again. So we want to engage with all of you on that. But really appreciate all the work that you're doing. Stay safe, and I hope you know, sometime soon to see you all in person, because I do miss seeing you in person. Thanks for having me.
Assembly member, thank you so much for making time for us today. And we do have a wonderful community who have a lot of concerns with sustainability. So we'll continue to include you with any questions that we have. I know that you've put some legislation forward. You've originated some legislation, and we want to thank you so very much for supporting the sustainable community of the West Valley and all that you do for us. You've been terrific, and you're so approachable, and your staff is amazing. So we really want to thank you. And again, thank you so much for making time for us. Did you have any just closing things? Are you going to have to leave us now?
You know what? I'm so sorry. I think they only booked me for 10 minutes. I apologize.
Okay. No trouble. Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry, but I will look forward to seeing you in the future. And Dana, let me put my our information into the chat, and just for everybody, if you want to email, you can hear my email.
So the audience knows I serve on Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel's advisory council. And if you have any issues that you would like to be brought to the Assembly member, I would be happy to relate that to him. As I said, he's very approachable and he really helps us get what we need done. So just keep that in mind. You can reach out to me and I will bring it to the advisory council.
And Diana is extremely persuasive and good at getting a hold of me. So if you pass along things to her, they will get attention. So thank you so much, Diana. Really good to see you, and everybody stay safe.
Thank you, Jesse.
Have a great day. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions or anything else in the chat box here. Good. Any questions from anyone? Okay, we do have another local elected official that will be coming up shortly. Again, we're going to be a little bit flexible. And I'm going to ask Debbie Decker if she will speak with us for a moment while we wait for our next speaker. Hi, Debbie.
I would be happy to. Thank you so much for having me. The West Valley Food Pantry is committed to providing groceries to more than 10,000 people in need each month. So the West Valley Food Pantry is also committed to doing everything that we can to save the planet. We do this by rescuing food from 10 local grocery stores each morning. We sort through it and we repack it for our families. The fruit and the vegetables that are not good to pass along, we actually have an organic garden and an orchard. And much of the food goes into our compost bins. So it gets reused as fertilizer down the line for our organic garden. We also have, on Monday mornings, we have a shower truck for the homeless, and that produces gray water. Well, instead of putting that down into the sewer system, we actually pump it up into the orchard and into our organic garden, and that is how we are reusing and saving water, and we are using that as well. So for all of those items that are not reusable, we have recycling dumpsters, which are picked up 3 times a week, and we get an extraordinary amount of cardboard. And so thanks to Waste Management, we have a wonderful supply of dumpsters, and we are able to recycle that. So we are committed to recycling, reusing, and repurposing as much as we possibly can.
Diana.
You do a fantastic job with that. Thank you so much, Debbie. You really do. And the West Valley Food Pantry is one of our favorite nonprofit organizations in the West Valley. Thank you. Ryan, I'm going to switch it back to you.
All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and close our poll here. And let's see if I share the results. You guys should be able to see them. But first off, let me just go ahead and say thank you to Jesse, Gabriel, and Debbie for sharing a bit about what they do. It's always great to see politicians connecting with businesses to show their support.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for the poll, let's see how we did here. Question 1, the U.S. Department of Energy recommends turning off the monitor and placing the computer on sleep mode if you're not going to use it for more than blank. A, 2 hours, B, 6 hours, C, 45 minutes, and D, 20 minutes. It looks like we have a tie here between 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the correct answer is D, 20 minutes. It is estimated that $2.8 billion went to energy cost to power unused computers in the workplace alone. The amount of energy used for this is estimated to release over 20 million tons of CO2 emissions, the equivalent of the emissions from approximately 4 million cars. So if you're going to leave your computer for more than 20 minutes, be sure to turn off the monitor and placing the computer on sleep mode. It's a great way to save energy and doesn't inconvenience you too much when you get back to your computer. Question 2, how many gallons of motor gasoline does the average American consume in 1 year? And again, we have a tie between B, 500 gallons and D, 750 gallons. The correct answer is B. The average American consumes approximately 500 gallons of gasoline per year, whereas the average Canadian consumes approximately 310 gallons per year. Those Canadians. Assuming burning 1 gallon of gasoline produces 20 pounds of CO2, the average American emits almost 2 tons more CO2 related to gasoline consumption. Carpooling and taking alternative means of transportation can help you out, cut down on gasoline consumption. If you have any questions about that, go find my guy, Hank. He'll help you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Question number 3, how much does the average American consume in paper, wood, and other products made from trees each year? A, 1 tree, B, 5 trees, C, 7 trees, D, 15 trees. The correct answer is C, 7 trees. The average American uses 7 trees 7 trees a year in paper, wood, and other products made from trees. Throughout the United States, this amounts to about 2 billion trees per year. So they always say reuse, reduce, recycle. I think it's so important to work on reducing the amount of paper we go, and hopefully with all the technology out there, it's more possible. All righty, question number 4. What is the tallest building in the US to be LEED certified? LEED is the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And this one, let's see, the options were A, US Bank Tower, B, One World Trade Center, C, the Chrysler Building, and D, the Aon Center. And B is the correct answer. The One World Trade Center is the tallest LEED certified building in the world and the 4th tallest overall building in the world. Alrighty, question number 5. Approximately how much global electricity output is produced from renewable sources? Let's see, A, 1%, B, 5%, C, 10%, and D, 20%. And looks like you guys got that one by 1 answer. The correct answer is C, 10%. 10% of global energy comes from renewables. The remaining 90% comes from non-renewable sources like oil, coal, and natural gas. And thanks to David and SoCal Gas, we're trying to change that so we can use more renewables. All righty. Let's see, is our senator around yet?
He is.
Oh, he is. Okay. Well, I would like to introduce our Senator Henry Stern. He is a 6th-generation Californian and native of the greater Los Angeles area, who has represented the nearly 1 million residents of the 27th Senate District since first being elected to serve in November of 2016. Stern has chaired the Senate Natural Resource and Water Committee since 2018, where he has worked tirelessly to bolster the state's wildfire preparedness, push to have the state,
You got it right so far.
I'm gonna get it. Push to have the state address the climate change emergency, improve our democracy, and fight to help some of California's most vulnerable members. He also sits on the Senate's Budget, Judiciary, Environmental Quality, Elections and Constitutional Amendments, and Energy, Utilities, and Communications Committee. Man, you have to do so much. It's a lot.
You pay me to do it, Ryan. You actually pay my salary, so. Yeah.
Since first taking office, Stern has focused his legislative attention in 4 main areas, one of which is attacking climate change to include increasing the use of renewable energy, wildfire prevention, preparedness, and recovery. A former educator and environmental attorney, Stern received his undergraduate degree from Harvard University and earned his law degree at UC Berkeley. Born in 1982, Stern lives in Los Angeles County with his wife, Alexandra, whom he married in 2019. All right.
I love that you guys put that in my bio. How did you get that into my bio? Did my staff put that in, or did you guys do that?
Actually, that is your short bio that's on your website.
It's so romantic of my staff.
They're just so happy to have you married.
I know, you're right. They're so happy. The senator got married. Now he stopped talking to us.
Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you, Diana and Ryan. Thank you for the kind introduction. And I'm so pleased that you all Yeah, I love getting back together with the crew here. Good to be with you all. And it looks like a great group. I'm looking through our panelists and attendees. This is our first ever, correct? This is our first ever
This is our
Sustainability
first.
Expo?
It is. It absolutely is.
And so once you get done with the politicians talking part, the good stuff I think is going to start, which is you guys actually sharing some of the innovative businesses and some of the work going on in our region, which to me, that's really the main course here. So I'm happy to be an appetizer, and I guess give you a sense of what we're trying to do at the state level, and really how I see your leadership work on the ground playing a pivotal role. Ryan talked a little bit about our work in wildfire, and I've done a fair amount of work in clean energy, but one of the issues that you all sit sort of at the heart of is transportation as well. There's so many ways to look at sustainability, but I actually see, our region and the way we build out within Warner Center and the Woodland Hills, sort of West Valley neck of the woods. We're the furthest reaches of LA City, right? We're the sort of frontier. But I truly believe in transportation innovation, building modernization, grid hardening, and home hardening, and then a broader sort of focus on sustainability where water starts to even become independent. I think we can become a self-sustaining ecosystem unto ourselves, not just environmentally, but economically, where we start to have homegrown companies that are emerging here, where we become a hub of industry, where we stop moving so many dollars, say, out of our basin. Every dollar that we're spending, say, at oil at the pump is money that's leaving our local economy. Well, why don't we move that and spend that money back within different fuel providers and find new ways to power our transportation system, for instance? I'd rather have you guys paying your local utility, whether it's gas company or Edison, depending on what kind of transportation you got. Lean on them more in the future and find ways to keep those dollars local. Find ways to bring more public transportation and automated transportation into our corner of the valley. My college friend, college buddy, who now is like the genius of the Democratic Party establishment, Pete Buttigieg, is now our Secretary of Transportation back east. And when I chaired his campaign for president, a lot of what we were working on was bringing innovation into not just downtown areas, but the edges, the suburbs, where people live and drive and sort of have normal lives. It's not just designing the world for San Francisco or for downtown LA, it's for the West Valley. And we talked about how this kind of community is the right place to scale innovation because it's scalable. There's a lot of people outside of Minnesota and Atlanta and Columbus and all over this country who live a lot like we do, who commute a lot, who have resource needs, who have utility and infrastructure needs, who have disaster risks. May not always be fire, could be floods or hurricanes or cyclones, but who need resiliency. So there's a lot that is sort of sitting right before our eyes when we're on the edge of the fire zone. We're at the edge of the transportation hub. We're sort of the roots of our local infrastructure requirements. So much happens here. So I think it's appropriate that this leadership chamber, this what started this little engine and now is a sort of benevolent infrastructure, if you will, for the entire LA area, let alone the West Valley. You all are exactly the right place to be having this conversation. So we're going to try this year to add some fuel to that, running a big climate change bond, hopefully put something on the 22 ballot, get some infrastructure dollars spent. But we probably don't have to do it alone here. We're hoping the Biden administration comes through, and we're looking at, I helped set up something called the Climate Catalyst, this infrastructure bank as a state. So we're looking to leverage state dollars and do real scaled infrastructure investment, places like right here in the Valley, trying to add some money into the transportation innovation technology pilot that the mayor got going with Bob Blumenfield from Caltrans and DOT. Looking at a regional water component to that too, where we'd be investing significant dollars in Met's big Hyperion project to try to use more of our in-basin water and send less of it out to sea and do more of that recycling and restore the LA River. There's a major component there for the stormwater components, but also the land use conversion, that master plan that you may have all seen come out recently from the MRCA and some stakeholders, the Upper LA River master plan that rolled out. The bond would have money for that too. But beyond money, it's really about being strategic about categories and about maximizing dollars, because the state's in the middle of fighting a pandemic and we really have one hand tied behind our back right now. So any investment we're making in the utility space, in the transportation space, in water space, housing, these all have to be done in this sort of lean mindset. But I think that we can make the case that, look, this investment's necessary. And in fact, it's going to cost us a heck of a lot more if we don't do it right now. So if we let it wait and we let our state keep burning down, we're going to get $8 billion budget gaps coming out of nowhere every 4 or 5 months. And I truly think that from a fiscal solvency perspective, for all you business managers out there, you know, the liability to this state from disasters, and just LA County alone, we were rated by FEMA in a recent survey the #1 riskiest county in the entire country. We got earthquakes, we got floods, we got fires, we have mudslides, we have a lot of stuff. It's an amazing city, but it is a dangerous place too. The way we've been built, this metropolis, weaves through a lot of risk. So if we're going to survive fiscally and not have to, say, fight a pandemic and an earthquake and a wildfire all at the same time, we're going to have to get ahead of those risks. We're going to have to brace and bolt our homes. We're going to have to recycle more stormwater while we're building public health infrastructure, right? It's all that future spending. So it's spending, and it's also getting government out of the way when need be. So we're looking at ways to streamline some of these projects, looking at some of the permitting requirements, especially when it comes to building housing near transportation. We're going to be very bullish on getting development done. I'm also going to be not bullish and push back on development in places I don't think it should get done, like in the canyons and up on the hilltops where the fire risk is. But I think we can make some big progress this year, and I'm going to be counting on you all and all the incredible people on this call to help make that happen. But thanks for letting me be a part of this, and yeah, we'll look to you all for some big solutions going forward. So I'll just try to keep doing my job and hopefully dig our way out of this mess. I truly think that sustainability is the only way to get this economy back on track, and we've got to fight our way through this pandemic, but we got to have a plan beyond that. Something's got to pull us through this, and this infrastructure investment is truly, to me, the rocket ship to blast this economy somehow out of the pit it's in.
Senator, you really have let us know that sustainability is important to you, and I knew when we had this expo that you would find a way to make time for us. So I thank you so much for doing that. And I know that you've also put some legislation forward. You've originated some legislation for our sustainability measures, and I just want to thank you for that, all that you've done. I also want to let the community know and the audience know how approachable Senator Stern is and how wonderful his staff is and how responsive they are. They truly are terrific. And it was my pleasure to watch Senator Stern get sworn in for a second time. I was at his first swearing in, and I enjoyed his second one as well. So we are quite fortunate to have you leading us and having you working so hard for all of us. We really thank you for that, Senator. And we appreciate you taking your time today. I hope that you're able to stick around. We do have some more great presentations for you. We're going to move on now to our second time board president, and he has served several years on our Chamber of Commerce as legal counsel, Mr. Donald Weissman, Weissman Law Firm. Hi, Donald.
Hi, Diana. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure listening to Jesse and to Senator Stern. It's always interesting to hear what they have to say from Sacramento. My perspective is a little different because I don't have a business that runs on sustainability. My business is to try to keep other people sustained. Being a law firm, I deal with people all the time. I have my personal issues, of course. I'm a consumer, a Valley resident, matter of fact, a Valley boy born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. But I don't operate the same way as our other speakers have operated. The pandemic has done something that has been very interesting. It has been, since I do a lot of courtroom work, it has forced the courts, especially Los Angeles County courts, to at least get into the 20th century, and we're hoping very soon that they'll get into the 21st century. The courts have been closed since March. The trials that we were supposed to do through 2020 were all pushed into 2021 and 2022. I've already had 2 cases for 2021 that were supposed to start trial, pushed back further in the year because they don't know how to do juries and do trials on a larger scale. So what has become very popular for the courts is video conferencing, Zoom, telephone conferencing. And it's been very, very nice that in the past 6 or 7 months, my office has been as busy as we were before the pandemic started in terms of depositions and court appearances, but I haven't left my office. Whereas before I would put in anywhere from 50 to 200 miles a day on my car, going to courthouse someplace in the county or someplace in Southern California, or to an office for a deposition or whatever. So it's been different in that regard. From the client standpoint, the clientele has changed dramatically. The attitude of clients have changed dramatically. People are worried. What are they going to do? What can they do? Where are they going to go? And it isn't just the health aspect, it's the business aspect, as we've been hearing. So one of the things that we've been doing here in this office, one of the things that I've been doing is trying to be a resource and give information to people. Listen to what's going on. Yes, I deal with trouble. I deal with people's problems. But trying at the same time to provide resources and information so that they can reach out and make it a little easier for themselves. And one of the way we do it is, as the senator has said, and as our state assembly person said, it's involvement. I have a little extra insight, if you will, into some of these issues because I sit on the Metro Council for the San Fernando Valley and have for a dozen years. I work with various nonprofits and have for a number of years, and also being very active with the chamber. It gives a little insight into the flow of things and who's doing what, but also who can you call for help. So from my perspective, I would hope that people, from a law firm perspective, I should say, I would hope that people would not wait until they're in trouble to ask the questions. They would ask, what if, long before the what if occurs, so that if it does, you already know where to turn. And we invite questions. We invite people to become educated. We invite people to learn what's out there or what resources may be available, because we want people to get started moving in a direction long before it hits the fan. Because if it's going to be a legal process, if it's going to be a lawsuit, whatever, it's going to happen. We want people to be educated in the process long before we get there. And from a non-litigation standpoint, we want people to know what their businesses can do, what it can't do, what it might do, structure, restructure, elements that are out there to try to make it easier. So again, we run the gambit of trying to help people through the process while we ourselves are not providing the service such as a particular product or a particular service for a one-stop shop. We have a lot of things going on, a lot of things available for us. So that's what we do. We invite you to call and ask the questions. We invite you to become educated in the process, or to even say, gee, this is what I do. Where else can I get involved? So it'd be lovely to introduce you to other people within the chamber to pursue that process. And we're doing it through telephone calls. We're doing it through Zoom, respecting people's sensitivities. People that come into this office, on the rare occasion it happens, everybody's wearing a mask or their shield or whatever, being very respectful of personal space, et cetera, which I think we all need to do. So that's what we're doing here at the Weissman Law Firm. That's what we try to do with our involvement. And again, we invite you to give us a holler if you have a question. And although it's unusual for me to speak for such a short period of time, I have kept within my time limit, and it's my pleasure now to introduce Steve Hochman from Solderhawk for his turn. Hi, Steve.
Oh, cool. Hey, Don, thank you very much. Let me see, unmute myself. We're good. Okay, cool. So how's everybody doing? I'm very excited. Let me figure out how to get this going. Share the screen.
You do have share screen capability. Let me know if you need any help.
Share it. Good. Can you guys see this?
We can see it.
Okay.
We see your desktop.
All right. So here's the presentation. Let's get to you guys. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So first of all, I'm thankful to be here. It's exciting to see so many folks in the community who care about this. And, you know, we're all fighting for the same thing. We understand that, you know, the cool thing about this is that we have this huge opportunity, and the senator was, he was acknowledging that. And so I think David was doing the same thing. And that's what I really wanted to get into with everybody about, is that this is not so much about being dire and having issues and whatever, like I'm having right now. Let me see. I can't control, Diana, like I'm still seeing people. There we go. Okay. All right. So I think everybody could see this, correct? So my name is Steve Hochman from Solderhawk, and today's discussion is about how to beat climate change from your couch. So let's forget about climate change for a second. The question is something happening out there? And there is, of course, something's happening. Temperature's rising. This right here is what scientists are concerned about. This is the fact that 19 of the last 20 years, we've had the hottest years on record. This is the temperature since the thermometer was invented, 1884. You could see where we're at, 1952, 1969, 1986, 2003, and 2019. And so that's what we're concerned about. The 5 of the hottest years ever have been the last 5 years. But this is not the first time that our climate has actually changed. It's the 8th time. And this is what it looks like up close. So since the evolution of the Homo sapiens, since our birthday, since we first actually evolved on this planet, we've lived through lower carbon, higher carbon, lower carbon, higher carbon, but now it's gone up again. And that's what people are concerned about. That's what this is right here. So to pull this back out, this is the famous Keeling curve. This is the how we measure the percentage, the parts per million of carbon on the planet. And you can see right here, this is the number, this is the 8th change of climate that I just talked about before. This is what temperatures done during this period. And when you compare them both, you can see it's obvious why scientists called this global warming. 1975, about that time is when they were starting to talk about it. It's what we today call climate change, same exact thing, global warming, now we call it climate change. And that's what it looks like on that chart. Second thing that we're seeing is that the snow cover is actually going down. Precipitation that's falling, snow cover is going down. We know that, but the concern here is what it creates, which is earlier spring thaw. You could see how we went from blue to brown. This is Greenland, summer 1935. This is Greenland, summer 2013. That's what we're talking about. So what happens is when you have a temperature that's rising and a snow cover that's decreasing, you get droughts. And we are seeing increased droughts as well. So that's what this chart's about. You see the blue turning into brown. This is the 70s versus now. And it's compatible with the drought portal that we see. So when you have temperature going up, snow cover going down, droughts going up, you have wildfires. And that's what a couple of the folks were talking about before. We are seeing an increased number of wildfires, but we're also seeing an increased amount of land that's being burned. And when you look at the largest fires in California history, 17 of the top 20 have been since 2001, 85%. You look in a little deeper, 9 out of the last 10 years, 9 of the top 10 fires have happened since 2010. And the biggest fires of all time, the 5 of the 6 biggest fires of all time happened last year. When you look at what by CAL FIRE, what are they spending to actually suppress these fires, to put out these fires? So we have a chart from the 80s up until now. If you just look at the average per decade, you see a 1,700% increase in what we're spending on fires. Why is all this happening? Well, what do the experts say? NASA. NASA, of course, knows that this is happening, as we talked about just now, which is that the temperature is rising, the snow cover is going down, and the droughts are rising. So when you have hot and dry, while every fire needs a spark to ignite and fuel to burn, the hot and dry conditions in the atmosphere determine the likelihood of a fire starting, its intensity, and the speed at which it spreads. A warming world also has another consequence, which is higher nighttime temperatures. Normally, when we had cooler nighttime temperatures, it might have weakened the fire overnight. But now, higher nighttime temperatures allow fires to burn through the night, burn more intensely, and spread over multiple days. The snow melt is happening earlier due to climate change. It extends the summer drought, dries out the soil, increases the size of fires, accelerates snow melt. Droughts dry out trees and provide fuel for the fires. And then, of course, you have the human factor, which is that most fires are set off by people. So what does all this mean in summary? How do fires work? You need fuel. Fuel is created by a dry underbrush or dead trees. You need a spark. 15% of the time it's natural, most of the time it's human, and that's how fire is created. And with temperature increasing, snow cover decreasing, droughts increasing, all multiplied by human error, we get more intense fires, more frequent fires, and more damaging fires. And so that's what we're seeing. Thankfully, CAL FIRE in their climate program, they're trying to reduce the impacts of climate change that's already taking place. They have a mitigation strategy, which is very good. But the important thing for us to remember is that mitigation is a process of making something less. We can't control Mother Nature. We can only control some of the things that we do as a species, and that's why that's why the question started. How can we beat climate change? So it brings it full circle. How can you beat climate change from your couch? Well, your couch is in your house, and as we know, what your house is going to experience is more heat, more drought, more power outages. And so how will that affect you? Well, the utility right now, we're going to see greater, we see power outages, emissions and costs, all that stuff goes up. The fact that we're using this power for lighting, appliances, air conditioning, our power usage goes up when it's hotter and drier, power cost goes up. If you have no insulation, if your doors and windows aren't great, your usage goes up because you're losing stuff, you're losing heat. In the winter, you're losing air conditioning, your cooling costs go up. If you're using water for your washer and for your lawn, the usage goes up, the cost goes up. Using a car with dirty emissions, the fuel costs go up. Or you can choose to protect your family and save your money at the same time. If you choose to power your home with solar and you have a battery backup, then you have power security. You're not going to lose power during those power outages. Also, your emissions go down and your costs go down because the cost of solar is the cheapest way to get power on the planet. If you switch over to more efficient lighting and Energy Star appliances, your usage will go down and your costs will go down as well. If you add installation, better doors and windows, obviously you're going to be saving what you're buying. Your costs go down as well. Energy Star appliances, water usage goes down, water cost goes down. Vehicles, if you switch to a zero emission car, your cost is going to go down to run that. Now, the last thing is if you want to bring usage down from your lawn, you could switch over to a desert scape. And what happens there is your usage goes down, your costs go down. Finally, you can get yourself a water filter so that, are concerned about always having clean water. We have that security. So the question, how to beat climate change from your home, we just answered it. Clean energy, really cheap energy is what it comes down to it. So what if your couch, though, is at the office? So the next question is, how can you beat climate change from work? Work is business. As we know, in business, really, it comes down to economics. So what does that look like? Well, the production cost of renewable energy has been lower than fossil fuels for 4 years now, 2017. The year before that, in 2016, the investors already knew that was going to happen, and investment started to outshine fossil fuels. this is how investment has continued to increase. This is solar installations in the country blowing up. We know that in this area. Big business is taking advantage of this. This is Apple Park, 17 megawatts of solar on top of Apple Park in Cupertino. The NFL has 10 NFL stadiums, all powering 10 megawatts of power, which is incredible. Google worldwide has 2.6 gigawatts of power on all of their properties. It's pretty amazing. The military is looking to install 3 gigawatts of power by 2025. They've been working on this for the last 5 years. Utilities, last year, out of all new electric generating capacity, meaning all the power plants, all the new generating capacity places, it's coming primarily from wind and solar now. Now, how are the clean energy markets doing? Well, we see that the costs are going down, investments are going up, markets are expanding, jobs are increasing. All of this is better for the economy. As a matter of fact, NASDAQ predicts that renewable energy will see major growth in 2021. But, we've seen that over the last couple of years. What's next? Well, we all know that electric cars are blowing up and they're selling very well. But the cool thing is all these sexy competitors, Porsche, Renault, they're all coming into the market. The emerging market is the electric truck. We already have an electric Hummer and we have an electric Ford F-150. The game changer is hydrogen. If we can get, this is the Moreo, this is a hydrogen powered train that's in development. And we also have hydrogen airplanes in development. So think about it. We use 99 million barrels a day worldwide of petroleum, of oil. Now, there's 42 gallons of gas in a barrel, so we're using 4,150 million gallons a day worldwide. Now, the United States uses 20.2% of that, so we're using 838 million gallons a day. 69% of that is for transportation, so that's 578 million gallons a day used for transportation in this country. If we can drive and fly with zero emissions, what if we just maximized all clean energy, AKA Mother Nature? Just put her to work. The possibilities are endless, to infinity and beyond. Any questions?
Great job, Steve.
Thank you.
You so much. Is this the last slide?
I'm done. I'm trying to stop the share.
You're all set. Okay.
There we go. Stop the share. Are you back, Diane?
That was fantastic, Steve. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of questions. What a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Really terrific. I do not want to keep our council member waiting a moment longer. We're so happy to have him with us today. Council member Bob Blumenfield was elected to the Los Angeles City Council in March of 2013 and re-elected, of course, in 2017. He represents the 3rd Council District, which spans the northwest portion of Los Angeles in the San Fernando Valley, including the communities of Canoga Park, Reseda, Tarzana, Winnetka, and Woodland Hills. Bob is focused on serving the San Fernando Valley's day-to-day needs for city services, as well as facilitating the long-term job and economic growth that will help ensure the vitality of local neighborhoods and the city as a whole. At City Hall, his policy priorities include improving the city's physical and environmental infrastructure to make LA safe, clean, green, and a friendly place for people and businesses. Bob served as our state assembly member from 2008 to 2013, working for all of the San Fernando communities he continues to represent today. He knows the needs of the West Valley, and he continues to fight for us. He was the first Democratic freshman assembly member to ever serve as the chair of the Budget Committee. When I met Bob, he was serving with Congressman Howard Berman, bringing federal, state, and local experience to our West San Fernando Valley. Bob is a graduate of Duke University and the UCLA Anderson School of Management Business Executive Program. He lives in Woodland Hills with his wife, Kathy, and their 2 children. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here, Bob.
Oh, it is a pleasure to be here. I'm just sorry I've missed, I've been running between meetings and I missed the beginning of this. It's really exciting to be part of this first annual event on
Thank you. We have
sustainability.
recorded it and I would love to share it with you because we've had a lot of terrific information.
Yeah, it sounds that. I mean, I just caught the end of Steve's talk, which I thought was great. And I see Senator Stern is on there and I'm sure he spoke earlier and said amazing things. He's really great about sustainability and the environment and a great partner to have at the state level. And it's just nice to be with all of you and I appreciate being invited. And I want to thank everyone on this call too for supporting the West Valley Warner Center Chamber, especially in these times. It is so vital for our local businesses to be able to join and support each other and to advocate, to the city, to the state, to everyone on the issues of importance. This is an amazing chamber, and I never want to take that for granted. And start out with a little bit of gratitude as far as that goes. So also, this is a great topic. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. Climate change is an existential threat to all of us, and we need to be as clean and green as we can for lots of reasons. And Steve outlined a number of them. And I think we should be proud being, the Warner Center area and the West Valley generally, but the Warner Center is is operating now under the cleanest and greenest specific plan in the city. And that is not something to sneeze at when you think about the entire city. We are transforming from a planning perspective, a large area with these giant blocks and buildings that have a sea of parking, which is a 1970s notion when Warner Center was originally developed. And we're transforming it through the Warner Center into smaller blocks with transit corridors and an ecosystem that's about live, work, and play, which is what sustainability is about. Not to mention the LEED standards that are built into the Warner Center plan that make it even more environmentally friendly. I don't know how much time exactly I have. I want to touch on some of the issues that you asked me to talk about. Specifically, you wanted me to talk about the transportation zone. Some of you may have heard about this. Part of being sustainable is trying to promote transit and other forms of mobility other than just the standard fossil fuels. I recently introduced a motion to have the LA Department of Transportation develop a plan for a transportation technology innovation zone right here in the Warner Center, and to develop a standardized permitting process so the city can quickly evaluate and determine and approve new technologies, whether to approve new technologies. The Council Transportation Committee approved this motion last week, and it should be in council in the next week or so. So that's hot off the presses kind of stuff. Why? Because as we as a city, we want to avoid what I call the scooter experience, where a bunch of companies just dumped thousands of devices on our streets without any rules or regulations. Great idea for different mobility, but we've got to figure out how to process these things in a way that is good for our communities and sustainable. The goal is to have a framework in place with this transportation mobility area so that regulations for new technologies can be in place before the technologies are deployed. So that's a separate piece of legislation that I put forward to create that process for rules for these new types of innovations. Now, the idea for the innovation zone came out of discussions with a lot of community leaders, transportation, telecommunication providers, city departments, and the mayor's office. And it was in alignment with the vision, and I think it's possible because of that vision that many of you all supported for the Warner Center 2035 plan, specific plan, which I talked about, which designated us as a transportation-oriented district. So we're an ideal location, in my perspective, to test some of these technologies. Why? We have a diversity of land uses, high-rise buildings, large malls, small street-oriented retail, high and low residential uses. Our streets are relatively low traffic. I know nobody ever believes that, when we experience the traffic, but certainly compared to the west side. and our sidewalks aren't that cluttered. So we're able to move forward on some of these things. The first two technologies that are envisioned for the Warner Center are an autonomous delivery system that would operate on our streets and sidewalks, and a bike storage repair facility that would be placed on private property. These are sort of two innovation projects. The other autonomous vehicle companies have expressed interest in coming to the West Valley Warner Center. Hopefully will be a magnet for lots of interesting business to thrive here on this sort of cutting edge technology. Because these technology companies, this autonomous delivery companies, they've been deploying in other parts of the city, we don't have the regulations. And that's why, as I mentioned, I put that other motion in place to get us that framework. That motion, by the way, about the framework was approved by the council in late November. You've also asked me about whether this transportation zone would create business for the West Valley. And the short answer is yes. I can't tell you exactly how, A to Z, but each company that's coming in to work on these things is going to have its own business model. Some of the delivery bots, some of them are like an Amazon type thing where they have a centralized distribution center. Some are more of a Grubhub type model where they're going to provide extra options for all types of local businesses, not just restaurants. And I'm sure they're going to partner with local businesses for locations, to store, to charge vehicles, et cetera. So my hope is it's going to be a lot of opportunity for business. We're also going to need, when these technologies start getting deployed, to formalize the process for collecting feedback from the community about those impacts. And I'm open to ideas of how to do that. We have our neighborhood councils, our chambers, and groups that are established under the Warner Center 2035 plan. So my first inclination is to go with the groups that we already have. But if there are other ideas of how to formalize that, I'm all ears. In the few minutes, I'm talking quickly because there's just so much, and I know I only have a little bit of time, but I get excited about this stuff. I want to let you know about some other sustainability initiatives that I've championed locally and citywide. As you know, Warner Center is about live, work, play. And to make that happen, I've been working with Metro on the Orange Line improvements. And Metro, as you know, or you may know, has already switched to electric buses, which are quieter and cleaner, and of course, better for the environment. And in the next few years, we're doing a number of things to improve the capacity of that Orange Line so that really beefs up our transit. And it's all on the road to making that into light rail eventually. But right now, the immediate things that you'll start to see in the next year or two is they're going to start installing these rail gates at all the crossings on the Orange Line that'll speed it up and make it more competitive to drive it. Because the Orange Line will take off even more. I mean, it's already heavily used, but can you imagine when you're in your car and you look over and you see that bus going faster than you, a lot of people are going to be switching, not just because they need to, but because it's going to be a better, more comfortable option. Now, as you know, the Orange Line no longer has a stop in the middle of Warner Center on Owens Mouth near Oxnard. But I worked with Metro when they got rid of that to replace that single stop with a circulator that now has 10 stops between Canoga Station and Kaiser Hospital. And that's designed to make transit more convenient in the immediate area. I'm also working with Metro on an innovative on-demand micro-transit pilot. Now, right now, they have it visioned that micro-transit on-demand pilot is mostly in the northern part of the West Valley. I mean, it comes down, their current map comes down all the way to Pierce at Victory, but it kind of goes up past that. I want to see it extended all the way down to Ventura. And what that is that's where you call up like an Uber, but instead of an Uber, it's just $1 and you get on a van, picks you up and takes you wherever you want to go, and it picks up other people as well. So that's exciting as well. And Metro is starting that pilot in a variety of areas. Also, just so you know, the city has applied for 2 grants to develop a plan for improved walking and bicycling in the Warner Center and surrounding neighborhoods. And thanks to the West Valley Chamber for providing a support letter and being a partner on that. And if we get that grant, the Chamber and its members are certainly going to be a big part of that effort. About 2 years ago, the city got a grant to plan for better walking and biking connections to the Sherman Way Orange Line station, and to develop a comprehensive plan for improvements of the sidewalks, streets, and the Orange Line path. Last fall, the city applied for $40 million a $40 million grant to construct those improvements. So we got the grant first to lay them all out, and then we applied for the construction money, and that is a Caltrans active transportation grant. So Henry will ask you to keep your pressure on them to make that happen, but we're supposed to find out on February 15th whether we get that money. That's a huge game changer if that happens. And I mean, there's a lot of applications out there, so I don't know that we'll get it, but I hope we do, because that would help transition from the Orange Line to the LA River. It would extend bike lanes on Sherman Way, put in missing sidewalks, trees, speed humps, roundabouts, all sorts of things that money could be used for. So that's great. Other things, in late December, the city awarded a contract to extend the LA River bike path from Mason to Owens Mouth. Ultimately, that means that the entirety of the river in my district would be covered as a contiguous bike path. But the construction on that will finish by the end of 2022. They can only construct during the dry season, but that's moving. And as far as the LA River, the other thing that's moving is, people are concerned about the safety of LA River, understandably, and we are contracting with the MRCA, which is the State Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy. It's joint powers of them to patrol the river for us and to offer some programming. I think that's going to be a game changer too for making that river pathway much more accessible for people and much safer. There's a lot of other initiatives that are out there, sustainability kinds of things. Recycle LA, as you all know, and some people are not always happy because it caused prices to go up. People remember that was because we had a lot of state mandates for organics and other kinds of things. To make sure that we're going to get what we paid for, I'm working with the Bureau of Sanitation to create a scorecard to incentivize the waste haulers to really do the reductions that were promised. And I'll start to close. I can see you getting anxious time-wise. One of the most important sustainability things is our trees. And I've really been working with street services and with Urban Forestry Administration to get money to get us back on a cycle where we can get more of our trees trimmed and we can get more trees, because that ultimately, I mean, we're Woodland Hills and the surrounding areas, we're all about trees and shade. This COVID epidemic is taking a little bite out of the budget, but it is still a big priority to do that. And similarly, to reduce the urban heat island effect, just a quick plug for a technology, Cool Pavement, which is the idea of basically putting a sunscreen on your street. It's like a white painted stuff, and it changes the reflective nature of the street, and it can actually create less heat, of a heat island effect. I was very bullish on this idea. In fact, I got the first ever street in the country to test it. Public street is right in my district in Canoga Park, and that was the first one. We've tested now about 15 other streets throughout the city. The first set of streets of the community is in Winnetka, and you can actually see it from NASA. I have a cool picture where you can see the heat difference from a satellite picture of what's happening with that small community that has the sunscreen on it, the Cool Pavement. So we're looking to do those kinds of things. Anyway, I know there's a million things to talk about. I'll stop talking, but just to let you know, I'm really thrilled to partner with the Chamber and with all of you on these things, and I'm happy to take questions at the appropriate time as well. So thank you, Don.
Councilmember, we're getting a lot of comments about what a treasure you are and what a great leader you are. Even Senator Stern is speaking about your leadership. So thank you so much for all that you do. I'm happy to hear that you're going to stick around and that we might possibly have some questions for you in just a bit. What I'd like to do at this point is just quickly go around to all of our wonderful exhibitors today, our sponsors and exhibitors. And I'd like to start with farmers. They are setting an example of sustainability in the workplace that is just wonderful. They have so many innovative ideas of what they're doing and implementing at their business. So I want to start with just spotlighting Megan. If you could just give us a little 10-second closing statement, we'd really appreciate that. And we're going to go ahead and go around to all the exhibitors and sponsors. Megan?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you guys all so much for having me and having me on the Sustainability Committee. It's been very enlightening. And Yeah, we're, like I said, we're just sort of starting out in this field, and we're looking forward to being able to share more when we really expand, and have learned a lot today, and looking forward to putting those into use. Thanks.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for sharing all your wonderful tips with us. Next, we have our event sponsor and program coordinator, David Meza of SoCal Gas.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and sponsor this and partner and speak with you, present with you all. I've learned so much over the course of the last couple of hours outside of us here at SoCal Gas, moving forward with renewable natural gas and looking at ways how we can make hydrogen a viable option here in California. We hope that we can continue to push that information and just provide that resource so we can have and understand better what it is to be sustainable and how to do it correctly, maintain affordability and reliability as well, because we know that. So thank you.
Thank you, David. Stephen Hochman, Solderhawk.
Hey guys, the panel, thank you very much. It was fantastic. I mean, we all know this, so I'm preaching to the choir here, but for the folks at home, I think the biggest thing I want everybody to take away is it's about the economics. Clean energy is cheaper, period. You're just switching to a better, cheaper vendor. That's it. So you got to look into this. People compare apples and oranges all the time. They're comparing how much does it cost to buy a system that's going to create 25 years of power in cash right now. Well, that's going to cost a lot of money, but the same amount you're going to spend in 7. So look into it. It's smarter. That's why we're all doing it.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, Hank. Hi, Hank.
Thank you so much, Diana. I was just figuring out my unmute situation. Thanks again to the panel, and thank you so much for the Sustainability Committee and for the Chamber for just putting on such a great event. I certainly learned a whole lot today, and while my presentation covered a lot of the things that you can do it as a business to support sustainable transportation, I think the Senator Stern and Councilmember Blumenfield touched on a lot of really exciting things in the transportation space, and I would just encourage you to reach out and connect with me over at Warner Connects to find out about any of those initiatives that are coming up, as well as with the Senator and the Council Member's office. So I'll put my info here, but thanks again for joining, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Thank you, Hank. Brie Breckenridge.
There. Thank you so much. This was so incredible. I know I kind of joined at the last minute, but I'm so excited that I got to be here and be on this and learn so much about sustainability and the innovative ways that we're helping our environment and our community. Some final words is that I'm here, Sandy. I'm looking forward to talking to you about recycling some more. I sent my information in that chat, so please feel free to email me. I will also be sending some flyers and information over to Diana and her team so that she can help distribute some of that. Simple ways that you can help recycle or reuse are, go paperless in your businesses. Read things on your computer, and if you have to print things, then print on both sides. Or even, reuse some furniture, or donate it, reduce, reuse, and recycle. And
thank you, Bree.
Yeah.
Excellent. Donald?
Well, first, thank you, Diana and Ryan and Felicia for promoting and putting on this program. It was terrific. From my perspective, remember that my business is to keep you in business and out of court. And as necessary, we'll do what's necessary, including suing the bastards for you.
Thank you. Okay, Dick Bublitz.
Muted.
You're muted.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to Debbie Decker.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's going to take all of us working together. It's going to take individuals. It's going to take the business. It's going to take nonprofits and the government all working together. And it's wonderful that we're already the best in the city, according to Bob. And I think that we really make a difference all working together. So it's a wonderful thing being part of the Sustainability Committee. And I thank you all for inviting me to speak. And I think we can do this together.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think that Senator Stern may have had to leave, but Councilmember Bob, would you give us some closing thoughts before we head into our Q&A and raffle?
I think this has been a great forum. I wish I had heard most of it. I'm looking forward to being able to watch the recorded version, and just grateful that all of you are focused on this issue and have gotten together. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, I am going to hand it over to Ryan so we can just make sure that we've answered all the questions, and Ryan has a raffle to talk to us about. Thank you.
Yes, let's see, yes, I'm not muted, great. So yeah, we do have some stuff to raffle off. I just want to let you all know, if you've registered for the expo today, that we will be doing a drawing and having a giveaway, and you will receive an email if you win. Sorry, we can't do it live today, but we should have some good stuff for you. There was a few Q&As that looked like they were answered, but we will definitely share them with the exhibitors, and if you guys want to have a further conversation, we'll be sure to kind of enable that to happen. But it looks like all the Q&As have been answered via the chat option. So
Okay, great. Do you have any final words, Ryan?
oh, I just honestly, I'm just so happy and want to thank everyone for attending, and all the politicians and business representatives and whatnot. It's I feel like all my expectations have been met and exceeded. So thank you all.
That's great. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you to the audience. So many of you stayed on, even though we went over. This is great. We hope you enjoyed the expo and that you walk away with some great tips and resources to go green in your work and home. Yes. This will be an annual event. So please look for either on or around January 24th of next year. That's going to be a Monday. It's going to be the fourth Monday of the month. In the meantime, we're going to stay active. Please like our West Valley Sustainability page on Facebook, and be sure to join WVWC members group on Facebook. What we do on that page is we share all the links that are helpful through the pandemic, the COVID-19 resources. The council member has amazing links and resources for us, and as well as the senator and the assembly member. And it was so fabulous to have them here today. But when you're on the WVWC members group, you can get all types of wonderful information. So please join that. I'm looking forward to approving you to join. And if there are no other questions or anything for us to chat about, I'm going to go ahead and close this. And thank you. We really, truly hope to see you soon. Stay sustainable.
You guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye.